Nico! Nico!
I think he really is mad.
Bring the $5.
Those offers
But if you ever want to get back to running, if you ever want to get back in, you do well.
He said that adding barbecue to flank steak will make it that much better.
Yeah, do you want to go sit there?
Still cook a lot. That's always been the case. It's good, and it's a little bit. I don't think it's quite as long. Some of these productions I think over the last few years, just for but I know. But yeah, even the second act, I think it's maybe it feels like it's 35 minutes. So that's yeah, making steak. It's that type of. What's the bear? He's jumping the berries.
So Grace.
Hopefully I'm setting the
That's good.
Oh, you're a lucky man.
Good evening. All right. Hello, good evening. We want to thank you so much for not only coming to the closing night of the Drowsy Chaperone, but also for braving this weather. We appreciate every single one of you. The students did not want to call it off. They're super excited to be here. They came in, they're ready to go, and they're ready for a great show. So we just really wanted to take the time and say thank you, every single one of you, for coming. At the end of the show, we will have a quick senior recognition because this is senior night, so please stick around. There will be a 15-minute intermission, and other than that, just please shut off your phones and enjoy the Drowsy Chaperone.
I hate theater. Well, it's so disappointing, isn't it? You know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater, waiting for the show to begin? I pray. Dear God, please let it be a good show. And let it be short, O Lord in heaven, please. 2 hours is fine, but 3 hours is too long. And keep the actors out of the audience. I didn't pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a good story and a few good songs that will take me away. I just want to be entertained. I mean, isn't that the point? Amen. You know, there was a time when people sat in darkened theaters and thought to themselves, what if George and Ira Gershwin got for us tonight? Or can Cole Porter pull it off again? Can you imagine? Now it's, please, Elton John, must we continue the charade? It used to be sitting there in the dark, you knew that when the show began, you'd be taken to another world, a world of color and music and glamour, and you think to yourself, my goodness, when are they going to bring up the lights? My, how times have changed. Hello. How are we today? Wonderful. You know, I'm feeling a little bit blue myself. You know, a little anxious for no particular reason. A little bit sad that I should be feeling anxious at this age. You know, the self-conscious anxiety resulting in a non-specific sadness, a state that I call blue. Anyway, whenever I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music. So this morning, I was going through my records, yes, records, and I was about to put in the soundtrack recording of Meredith Willson's The Music Man. I had a craving for a young Ronnie Howard. But then I said, no, let's have a treat. Let's disappear for a while into the decadent world of the 1920s, when the champagne flowed while the caviar chilled and all the world was a party. For the wealthy, anyway. So, I dug back, and what should I find but my favorite show, Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone. Remember? Music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's a 2-record set remastered from the original record made in 1928. It's the full show with the original cast, including Beatrice Stoffel as the chaperone. She's so pretty. And this was a full 15 years before she became Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Can you believe it? Let me read you what it says on the back. Mix-ups, mayhem, and a gay wedding. Of course, gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun. And that's what this show is, fun. So would you indulge me? Would you let me play the record for you now?
Yeah!
I was hoping you'd say that. You hear that sound? I love that sound. To me, that's the sound of the time machine starting up. All right, let's visualize. Imagine, if you will, it's November 1928. You've just arrived at the doors of the Morosco Theater in New York. It's very cold. Remember when it used to get cold in November? Not anymore. It's global warming. We're all doomed. Anyway, it's very cold and a heavy gray sleet has started falling from the sky, but you don't care because you're going to see a Broadway show. Listen. Isn't this wonderful? It helps if you close your eyes. Overtures have gone out of style. You know, I miss them. It was like the show's way of welcoming you. Oh, hello. How are you today? Your meal will be served shortly, but in the meantime, would you like an appetizer? That's all an overture is, a musical appetizer, a poo-poo platter of tunes, if you will. Something new. Sounds kind of rollicking. Maybe a dance tune, perhaps? Even something involving pirates? Don't worry, there are no pirates. Definitely the right decision picking this over the music man. This is it, the moment when the music begins to build and you know you're only seconds away from being transported. The curtain is going up, I can't wait.
Yes, madam.
How do I look?
You look radiant, Mrs. Tottingdale.
Oh, I do love this dress. It never goes out of style.
It's a miracle, madam.
My fancy dress. I don't know why I'm wearing it, I must confess. My dress, I love my dress. Would someone tell me why I put it on?
Yes, your dress, your fancy dress. Was such a pleasure airing it with stitching and repairing. God bless, your dress is one fine dress, and I will tell you why you put it on. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime. Madam, you're the hostess and it's happy wedding time. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will gong, wedding bells will ding-a-ling and we will ding along. Wedding guests have come,
Wedding guests are here.
wedding guests are at the door and soon they will appear. I'm Robert, the bridegroom, I'm here to marry Janet. That's our Belgian spouse whom I love a lot. I'm George, that's George, his best man George. I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought. This is Tottingdale. Now don't worry, there's already Tom planned out. The keys organization, see? Each string represents a task that needs to be completed. Name the musicians, yell the floors, move the minister. Somebody's gonna run my clock for us.
It's gonna be a wedding.
I'm Belting, producer. I lost the lead, lady. I gotta stop this wedding or else I might get shot.
I'm kidding, just kidding. I think with Mr. Drowsy, I'll be a legal lady if I get my shot.
With pastry chef, because our hearts with pastry chefs. Don't bakery, a bakery is what we got.
I'll my name is I am the king of romance, so I can't say long.
You are the king of romance, so you kiss a lot. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time.
Someone has it come, someone is it here.
Where is Janet Vandergriff and when will she appear?
I'm the chaperone, Janet Vandergriff, maid of honor, friend and confidant, and all that run. Where's the bar?
Prohibition, madam.
Good thing I brought my own. Champagne, it makes me drowsy.
It's really happening, truly happening, almost happening. What is happening?
Tricks, the aviatrix, not the sky. I circled through the stratus in my modern apparatus. Tricks, the aviatrix, I gotta fly. I'll see you when the time at night.
Well, there you have it. All the guests have arrived. We have a bride who's leaving the stage for love, her debonair bridegroom, a hairy producer, jovial gangsters posing as pastry chefs, a flaky showgirl, a Latin Lothario, and an aviatrix. And of course, my favorite character, the drowsy chaperone. What more do you need for an evening's entertainment? Isn't that wonderful? And we wooding along. I don't even know what that means. All right. I'll do my best to lead you all through the record. Don't worry, it won't be hard to follow. We begin with a welcome from the love-struck groom.
Well, I'd just like to thank you all for coming. I mean, who would have thought that I, Robert Martin, would be getting married to a glamorous showgirl, and that that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up a successful career for me, Robert Martin. Now, if it weren't for the prohibition, I'd say let's raise a glass
Here, here.
to Miss Janet Vandergriff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not.
Excuse me?
The groom mustn't see the bride on the wedding night. That's bad luck.
I hope you all heard that because that's the plot. Basically. Hang on for the ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian room. Now you listen here. You're the chaperone. You keep Janet away from Robert, you hear me? That's your only job.
Aye, mon capitaine. Oh, Robert, who's my little puppy?
I'm your little puppy.
So the bride and groom are whisked away and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Drowsy!
Getting married and leaving show business.
Mr. Drowsy!
Doesn't she know I got obligations?
Mr. Drowsy!
Kitty, I told you, you ain't got what it takes.
Oh, I've been taking lessons. Singing, acting, ballet.
Ballet.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake.
A little side annotation. Kitty and Belzy were actually a couple in real life, Jack and Sadie Adler. It's a familiar comic construct, the stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but in the end she does something clever and makes everyone wonder whether it was all just an act. But the irony here is that Sadie actually was quite stupid. Jack had to explain all the jokes to her, apparently. Still, she had a wonderful career on stage. It used to be the theater was the only place where stupid people could earn a decent living. This was before television, of course.
Kitty, I don't have time.
No.
Oh, the team goal, Mr. Belzy. What? Perhaps a nice profiterole. Boys, I'm not hungry. Then perhaps I'll give you something else to chew on. Yeah, something that ain't food. What? Your confusion is to be expected. Although we stand before you in the gaze of innocent pastry chefs, we are also, and primarily, employees of a certain individual. A certain individual. A certain individual. Who happens to be the single biggest investor in Belzy's Follies. He has sent us here, as pastry chefs, to express his concerns about Miss Van Graff's impending nuptials. Specifically, the next gets married and leaves the show. Then there ain't no show.
Say, don't I know you?
No, you don't.
Have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
Have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No, I haven't visited you.
Get it, boys. You tell your boss this ain't never gonna happen. You have my word. Oh, we'll take your word, all right. But to go back in that word would be a recipe for disaster. Now we hope we made ourselves perfectly clear. One can only hold. You must gotta be kidding me. A tribal one? But don't talk with me. All right, you can drop the pastry shepherd tea. Alas, we cannot. We're on the limb. They can't take back you.
The gangsters were played by interchangeable vaudeville duo, the Tall brothers, John and Peter Tall. They were born Abram and Mendel Maslowskowitz, but were renamed at Ellis Island by a sarcastic immigrations official. They were an early example of the typical Broadway gangsters, full of stylized movements and wordplay. Not very intimidating. Unless, of course, you find dancers intimidating, which I do, but for reasons that would not be appropriate to this situation.
With the man in your hands, Mr. Belzy. In the meantime, feel free to browse the dessert carousel. Try this for your surprise. It's the apple.
What's it gonna have? Holy cats, Mr. Belzy. They're gangsters.
Very perceptive, Kitty. Now go out of your face.
Okay.
You don't pay me enough for this. Now stop this way, but how? Oh Lord in heaven, how?
I always felt that moment was a little bit overplayed. So, with the story well on its way, let's go to the groom's room.
Hey there, handsome. Show me those pearly whites.
The groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyman. He got his start as the Albright toothpaste man. His fabulous smile adorned every tube. Albright was hugely popular in the early 20s because it contained cocaine. It's true. If you looked at the label, it was the 5th ingredient down, right under sugar. Anyway, it wasn't long before he became a huge matinee idol.
Now don't you worry. It is perfectly normal for a groom to be nervous on his wedding day. It is? Of course!
I love Percy Hyman. Now, some people say he was a bad actor, but to those people, I say shut up.
Hey there, Mr. Mirror Man. Shaking, the quaking, trembling like them fraidy cats do. Something big be bothering you. Cold feet, brother, you got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot with a little bit of young feet. Old feet, fairly uncontrolled feet. You can make them cold feet drop down the aisle. Cross the arches, they can learn to swing. Icy toes can die. Frigid soul.
another minister. Well, say, Robert, what are you up to?
I'm singing a song. Dixie Reynolds, wedding day jitters.
You think you got jitters? I forgot to get the rice, the boutonnieres, and the minister. I have to wait till the wedding's on my shoulder.
George, it sounds like you got cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Cold feet.
What do I do? Scold feet?
No! You make the cold feet hot.
Your tap water, sir.
On 5, 6, 7, 8. Cold feet. Cold feet. Turn them into cold feet. And make them cold feet. Cold feet's hot. Make cold feet's hot. Cold feet's hot.
Percy Hyman was a wonderful performer. He's still alive, you know. I saw him on the news recently, celebrating his 100th birthday. To say that the passing years had taken their toll on him would be a grotesque understatement. They wheeled him out. He had that wide-eyed expression of pained confusion that God reserves for very, very old men on their birthdays. You know, the one that says, "Who am I? Who are you? And why is this cake on fire?" You know the one. Anyways.
All right, Robert, that's enough. Tap dancing around like a fool.
I'm sorry, George. I was just trying to calm my nerves.
Well-
It's my wedding day, after all.
You could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing's just too dangerous. You know what I do when I want to blow off some steam? I go for a skate.
George, what would I do without you?
Oh, no. Oh, you can't go out like that. You can see Janet. Here. Put on my blindfold.
George, what would I do without you?
Just looking out for you, my boy. And no more tap dancing. Wedding bells will ring. Wedding bells will chime. Wedding bells will celebrate.
Just ignore it. It does this sometimes. It rings. It'll stop soon. Just
Hello. You have reached my answering machine. Leave a short message after the tone, and I'll call you back at my convenience.
Well, that's that. The moment's ruined. Thank you. Thank you, life. It's like a cell phone going off in a theater. I hate that. Oh, hello. What are you doing? Oh, hello. I'm at the theater ruining the moment. How about you? Oh, sorry, I couldn't get out tonight, so I thought I'd ruin the moment by proxy. I'm sorry. Let's just shake it off. Let's go back in our minds to 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928, but I'm sure they had something for the ruining of moments. Bugles or something.
Happy wedding time.
So, the scene shifts, and we find the bride, the glamorous Janet Vandegraff, entertaining questions from reporters while she lounges by the swimming pool.
Miss Vandegraff, is it true that you're giving up a successful career to marry a man you hardly know?
Yes, Robert and I met on the Lido deck of the Ile-de-France. He amused me with stories of his father's oil interests. We spooned briefly and then he proposed.
You won't be returning to the stage.
I shan't.
You shan't.
I shan't.
Can we quote you on that?
Yes, one more question. Yes. Why in the world would anyone put olives in a Gibson?
Yeah, I got a question. How can you give up on the footlights when you know very well you got grease in your veins?
Victor, please.
Oh, Janet, I'm begging you. Dump the mug and stay with the politics. I'll give you anything you want. I'll put your name above mine on the marquee.
Oh, Victor, if you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to show off. I don't want to wear this no more. Play the saucy Swiss miss no more. Blow my signature no more. I don't want to show off.
Janet, please.
Don't try to convince me. I've made up my mind. And that's it. I quit. I'm leaving it all behind. I don't want to be cute no more. Make the gentleman a hoot no more. I don't want to wear fruit no more. I don't want to show off. Not me. Page 3. I don't want to show off. You don't want to show off. I don't want to show off. You don't want to show off no more. No more. Not me. Please, no more attention. I've counted to 10. And that's it. I quit. You'll never see this. You'll never see this. Never see this. Never see that. Never see these again.
intention to continue a life on the stage. Can't you see it's killing her soul? Don't worry, boys. This wedding's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do an encore. I don't want an encore no more. Don't shout for more no more. No more. I don't want a show.
That was Jane Roberts as the bride. She was the Oops girl, remember? Remember the Oops girl?
Yes.
Wonderful. She was the girl whose energy was so great she'd cause men around her to have accidents. Spill their drinks, crash their cars into trees, and she'd just go, "Oops." Now, I'm not really doing it justice, but people ate it up. She made a whole series of films. Oops, The Oops Girl, Oops Girl Come Home, oh, Oops Girl at Sea, which won an Oscar for special effects.
Okay. Bacon and Broadway didn't work. Now on to plan B. For that, I'm gonna need the confidence. Someone gullible with loose morals. I need a, what do you call him, a European.
La 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 la.
In comes Adolfo. Self-proclaimed ladies' man. Adolfo was played by former silent film star and renowned alcoholic Roman Bartelli. Remember? He was the one who later drank himself to death at his chateau in Nice. It was 5 days before they found the body, and by that time, it had been partially consumed by his poodles. It was only partially consumed.
Excuse me, I don't believe we've met.
I am.
Adolfo. You are Adolfo.
Yes, I am.
Adolfo. Not the Adolfo.
Yes, I am.
Adolfo. Honey, you don't look like a scoundrel.
Yes, I. What?
Why, I just heard the group say that Adolfo is a scoundrel.
Adolfo, a scoundrel. Those very words. Adolfo is a scoundrel.
It's like I'm hearing it again.
Why? This is outrageous. He's telling this to peoples. Why? I must.
You must take matters in your own hands.
Yes. I must take this groom into my hands and kill him.
Yes. No. Well, that good one. No. Just hurt him so that he can't get married.
Yes. Show me to this groom. Wait.
What?
What kind of man is this groom? A big man. A burly fellow.
Well, I suppose he's big on the outside.
No. Adolfo will not fight big men. Small and pale, wee little door people that Adolfo can hunt far away. But no big men.
So you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yes. Adolfo is a lover of beautiful ladies. Some say I'm the king of romance.
Well, you know, the best way to get revenge on a man is through his sword. No. The best way to get back at a man is through his
window.
No. The best way to get revenge on a man is through his.
There is no other way. I'm not Santa Claus going down the chimney.
Through his woman! Yes, Adolfo, you must seduce his woman! His bride!
Adolfo will seduce the bride. That will show people Adolfo's a scoundrel. Bride. Wait.
What?
What kind of woman is this bride? A big woman? Oh no! A burly woman?
She's the cat's pajamas.
Pajamas?
She's a looker, an attractive lady.
Show me to this Captain Pajamas. Adolfo will make her.
Stop it!
Like a Captain Pajamas.
Roman Bartelli's chewing the scenery. You know, you couldn't get away with a performance like that nowadays, could you? Mature contemporary audiences are too sophisticated to enjoy broad racial stereotypes on stage. So we banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Underling!
Yes, madam.
The pastry chefs have been kind
provide the liquor for the party. But remember, Underling, we have to be discreet. It is prohibition, after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
Now, we'll have to think of code. For example, if someone wants a glass of ice water, oh, if they want a glass of vodka, they'll ask for a glass of ice water. Have you got that?
Yes, madam.
Are you sure? Maybe you should write that down.
A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka.
What's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water?
Vodka.
Ice
Vodka.
Well, see, that's one thing less to worry about. Now, Underling, could you give me a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs rather trying, and I would enjoy a refreshing glass of ice water.
Yes, madam. Your ice water, madam.
That's your vodka, you poop!
I hate this scene.
Well, now I do need a glass of ice water.
A glass of ice water, madam?
Yes, are you going deaf?
Would that I were.
You can see where this is going, can't you? It's really just a series of spit takes.
Your ice water, madam.
That's your vodka, you poop!
You know, some elements of the Drowsy Chaperone were quite progressive. A female playing a pilot, for instance.
Your ice water, madam.
That's your vodka, you poop!
Yes, some elements were quite progressive, but others were stale in 1928. You know, I'm just going to skip this part.
That was... Where are you going?
To find some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice? For heaven's sakes, why?
I'm going to wring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
Now, I'm sure you're all asking yourselves, what was a scene like that doing in the Drowsy Chaperone? Well, really it's quite simple. There's a song coming up and they needed something to allow for a set change. I mean, it's mechanics. The scene only exists to connect longer, more engaging production numbers.
I'm going to be Mrs. Robert Martin. Oh, my head is spinning.
Yes, life is a mad whirlwind.
This is a really interesting scene. This is the only time in the whole show that Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone on stage together. Now, Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension, but I suppose that's normal considering the circumstances. Have you ever been married, Chaperone?
No, I drink for pleasure, not out of necessity.
Speaking of,
Your ice water, madam. I'm going to refresh out of all this.
have you ever been married, Underling?
Heavens no, madam. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
Oh, you too. I know it sounds crazy to give up a successful career to marry a man I hardly know, but for some reason when I look into his eyes, his big puppy eyes, I get all woozy, and that's what love is, isn't it?
Not necessarily. I mean, the wooziness could be caused by any number of things. For example, I'm woozy right now, and I'm certainly not in love.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired the troops in every major world conflict up to and including the Falklands War. Of course, by that time, she was in her late 80s, and her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. Still, she insisted that one be included in every show she ever did, even, no, especially if it wasn't appropriate. But you just couldn't say no to her. Now that's star power.
Really, you're not being the least bit helpful. Couldn't you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration, dear, that's really not my forte.
Yes, but if you could just...
As we stumble on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure where to turn or what to do. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, I mean Antarctica. Oh, please.
Antarctica, please.
You mustn't let him lick you. This planet. Oh, so land. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand. As we stumble along, cross like sprouted cans, as we push and we stop, we live and we learn. And when we finally leave the bar and we see that morning star, we pull our bootstraps up and homeward turn. Then we stumble away through dawn blinding sunbeams, barely knowing right from right, nor left from wrong. But as long as we can hear that little bluebird, there'll be a song as we stumble along, as we stumble, bumble, fumble, a bumble, as we stumble
Just love her. Basically, she sings a rousing anthem about alcoholism. But that's what I love about her. She just does her own thing when she wants, regardless of the needs or concerns of others. My mother was like that.
Well, that was quite inspiring, Chaperone, but I'm still conflicted. Please, just tell me, is Robert the man for me?
My dear, that's something you'll have to decide for yourself.
But I just don't know if he loves me.
Well, why don't you ask him? Why don't you say, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert, and I'm not allowed to see him. In fact, it's your job to keep me away from him.
You're right. And I take that responsibility very, very seriously. It just seems that at this moment I'm feeling terribly, terribly drowsy. I'm afraid I'll have to have a lie down. But whatever you do, don't go wandering through the garden seeking out your fiancé to ask him the question on which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me.
Such a skinny little fool. Still, I envy her. Oh, when will love come crashing through my door?
La 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 la.
Who it is? It's Adolfo. Come to seduce the bride.
Aya! Oh, God.
Try not to think of the poodles when you're listening to this part.
I am Adolfo, and you are bride.
No, I am not.
What? But this is final sweet, and you are the only one here. Therefore, you must be bride.
Interesting fact, but I'm afraid you are a moron.
What?
Ouch! Me? No. Bride. Perhaps I could take a message.
Yes, yes, very good. Dear Pantograph bride, I must transport you to a place of ecstasy. Sooner is better. Signed, Albert, King of Romance.
Well, you saw through my little ruse. You found me out.
So you're all
Apparently. Yes! Take me, I'll tell a face.
No, not about this, Adolfo. You must remember my name, or it will ruin everything. How can I make you remember? I'm sure that you have heard the name of Duncan. Hey, ladies, and the claim of Duncan. Well, ladies, I am the same of Duncan. I introduce myself. I am comfortable.
Nice to meet you, Shelby.
It's not so fast. So just in case you didn't hear of Duncan, I tried to make it very clear of Duncan. The lovely ladies always give it a Duncan. When I repeat myself, I am a Duncan.
Understood.
I can sing it high, I can sing it low, I can sing it very fast, I can sing it very slowly. I do it now, but it would take hours. Now let us see if you can remember my name.
I'll give it a shot.
Now who's the fellow that you see?
Aldolfo.
And how should you refer to me?
Aldolfo.
And who is it I'll always be?
Aldolfo.
Now sing it proudly.
You are Aldolfo.
Now let me spell it up for you. For all you lovely ladies that didn't hear for some reason, because maybe you are hard of hearing or something. I don't know. It goes.
That was my mother's favorite number in the show. I think it was her secret fantasy to be swept off her feet by a Latin lover. A real Latin lover, mind you. Not a buffoon. But still, that's what musicals are all about, right? Romantic fantasy, falling in love at the drop of a hat, spontaneous tangoing, suddenly finding yourself in an insanely romantic setting.
Robert, look out!
Don't you worry, Adam. It's my wedding day, so I have to wear this blindfold.
Blindfold?
I'm sorry, who am I speaking to anyhow?
Why, it's me. I mean, Mimi from France.
This scene couldn't be any more ridiculous.
So, you are Melanie Janet Van de Graaf, no?
Oui.
I hear she's really beautiful
Oui.
and glamorous.
Ah, oui, oui.
Is it true that she's an exceptionally broad range and excels at playing both comedic and dramatic roles?
Say, I'm having trouble placing your accent. Where from France are you from again?
Is it little pearls? Well, does it makes it toast? You were telling me about how do you say in English, fiancé.
That's right.
Tell me, when was the moment that you knew that she was the only one for you?
It's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Lido deck of the Ile-de-France,
Yes.
and I was amusing her with stories of my father's oil interests.
Then what happened?
And then I looked into her eyes, her big, glamorous eyes, and I felt all woozy.
And then you fell! Then you fell?
Yep, right on my keister. And then I knew it must be love.
And then you said,
And then I said, there was a time I could stop on a dime, forbear it was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance.
Well, it appears a blindfold and a fake French accent have caused a terrible misunderstanding. What a mess. Will it all work out in the end? Of course it will. It's a musical. Everything always works out in musicals. In real life, nothing ever works out. The only people who burst into song are the hopelessly deranged.
Mr. Drowsy!
Where is that philandering foreigner?
Mr. Drowsy!
How long does it take to seduce one prize?
Mr. Drowsy! You don't need Janet no more. I've been working on a new mind reading act. Now, presenting Kitty the Incomprehensible. Think of something.
Oh, I think of something, all right. And it ain't nice.
Okay. Oh, and etiquette. Pick up some milk and a loaf of rye bread. And don't forget to shave your legs.
You're reading your own mind, you idiot!
No wonder it was so easy.
Mr. Felton, it would seem that the wedding's proceeding according to schedule. And now it's time for your just desserts. What do you think, partner? Should we whip up something special for Mr. Felton? Yeah! How about a little surprise? Oh, an inspired choice. A Toledo surprise? I never heard of that. No, you haven't. Those who have heard of it have genuinely never heard from again. We'll share the recipe with you. First, you chop the nuts. Then you pound the dough. Then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo. Toledo surprise. Could you run that by me one more time? It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Felton. First, you chop the nuts. Then you pound the dough. And then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo. Toledo surprise. Say, come and give it a little taste. All right, hold it. What style? What grace? What rhythm? Open your fists. Now shake it. Now give me that recipe one more time. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Chop the nuts. Pound the dough. Bake it up. Nice and slow. Then you got a Toledo. Toledo surprise. Now sell it. With the beat. Peel the skin. Push it up. Throw it in. That's the taste of Toledo. Toledo so now you beat it up, then you sweet it up, when you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it, it's a snap, try it close, whip your whites, split your yolks, then you got a Toledo, Toledo surprise, you boys are natural, artists, keep it up, we can work on the context, a 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, what's going on here?
I'm developing a new act. Toledo surprise.
You put gangsters in the show under 1.8 minutes? They're not even in the union!
Tell her wrong, Kitty. The new act, it's for you. These boys are your backup dancers.
Backup dancers? Holy cat! Run, cat, Toledo, run! I'm a Toledo. Good? Yes, Toledo. Toledo.
What, you make an announcement? Where are you? Stupid cake! Why did it all? What? The love about wine! Adolfo has made love to the bride! That is not the bride, you idiot! That is the chaperone! What? The wedding is on!
The wedding is off.
What?
Robert kissed a French girl. Her name is Mimi. She's very beautiful.
I couldn't help it, Janet. She was just like you, only French.
Underling!
Yes, madam.
What is all this commotion about?
The wedding, madam.
There's gonna be a wedding?
Not anymore! What a tragedy! What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy! Clear the floor, boys! I'll show you how it's done!